The Zambezi Sunrise Trust is focused on supporting education in Zambia. We do that through a number of ways. Our primary focus at the moment is supporting a community school. That's a school that involves children who have been assessed as vulnerable. They're selected by the community on the basis of their vulnerability.
Many of which are orphans or what's called double orphans, so parents and no grandparents. And the culture in Zambia is everybody is really lovely and supportive, and they tend to be family driven. So even if they're orphans, they wouldn't necessarily go into what we would class as an orphanage. They will work, the families will try and support them, but financially they can't support them. So it's emotional support rather than financial support that they've got. So the Zambezi Sunrise Trust can really sort of help in these communities by trying to support with the education, and one of our big projects is working with Linda Community School.
A year and a half after the founding of the charity, we're building a school. As I speak, the first classroom block's being built, the funding's there for a toilet block that's desperately needed. And that's our main financial focus. But beyond that, we've done a lot else with other existing schools and built on the firm foundations that they've got.
We try and support in providing them with resources that, again, we take for granted. So things like textbooks, things like materials, teaching and learning materials, computers, which we've been recently involved in supporting them with.
We have a school called Naked Chair, which is a school. It's about 8 and 9 years old. It began with 1 or 2 children. It's now up to 300. And that's a school where we've been able to direct our financial resources to supporting what's already there. So it's not a case of building the infrastructure, but building the teaching assets. So it's the only school in the area, so far as we're aware, where for 3-year groups now, in every single subject, every child has a textbook. This isn't an area where the norm is for the teacher, if he's lucky, to have the textbook, or if she's lucky. That's transformed the teaching situation there. Every classroom in that school now has a whiteboard. That makes a difference in overcrowded classrooms that are dusty to start with, where chalk dust really doesn't help.
And also, in terms of the Zambezi Sunrise Trust, we run other projects alongside to support that. So, for example, there's a homework club. So, for children who do go to school, and particularly in the Linda area, they can come and have additional support at the Linda Homework Club.
Zambezi Sunrise have assisted with others putting in a water purifier system and an educational element at a rural school outside Livingstone, Samunga. Further, there are ladies' empowerment groups, women's empowerment groups that we've supported in rural locations outside Livingstone through the provision of sewing machines.
They make beautiful items, and the idea is that they will develop the skills to be good at this, but also be able to sell them so that they can actually make a living out of it, to help with their families, to help feed them primarily, but also hopefully send them to school, because school isn't free as it is in the UK. There's uniforms you have to pay for, there's small fees that you have to pay for, and even just pens and paper.
So we're focused, but it's a fairly broad focus, if that's not a contradiction in terms.